Welcome to the Jira Life, the place to find news, events, and interviews with the Atlassian Community's movers and shakers. Join our hosts, Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira guy Nissen, as well as the Jira amigos in the Peanut Gallery, as we sit down and discuss the latest going on in the Atlassian ecosystem. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life, the Jira Life chose us.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, everyone.
Alex is unfortunately feeling a little down today.
I think I might have overdone it. I interviewed a couple CEOs yesterday, and I'm ready to cruise control it.
Is that the only reason?
I think life is catching up to me, Rodney.
You do 1 hour plus long live stream and you're dying.
Yeah, somebody wanted me to go to the 22 hours, so I'm never forgetting that.
So
Nobody wants to know if it's nap time. Not really. Not by choice.
it is not nap time because we have a crazy special guest today.
Yeah, who's this amazing guest that we have here?
This is, people say I'm the original Atlassian creator. That is a flat lie because Rachel was the one I was looking to when I was getting started on my Atlassian journey. We are fortunate here to have Rachel Wright, the one, the only.
The OG is what we call you.
No, Sean, people actually do say that.
Leave it to your boss to expose your dirty secrets.
I mean, I could pull up the Slack channel where they did if they really want me to push it, but...
So, Rachel, welcome. We're excited to have you here. As I told you in the green room, if you will, these two have not shut up, as you said yes about this day today. So, I'm expecting high things. I guess I grew up in the next generation of Atlassian creators. I have seen your stuff, but I don't think we've ever had a chance to meet or say hi or anything. So these guys hyped you up.
Well, this is a great place to be. I'm so glad you guys decided to do this. What a wonderful idea.
It's going a little over a year now, 13 months now.
Yeah.
So we thought we were going to stop after episode 1. I didn't think we were going to make it this far.
No, it's just a crazy plan. It's like, hey, let's see what happens.
So Rachel, just because I don't know you a whole lot, and I'm sure everybody in the chat does, and I want to jump into get out of that script there real quick. Why don't you tell me a little bit of how you started?
Sure.
What inspired you to be that OG content creator? Again, I'm just trying to learn a little bit so that when we get to the rest of the interview, I don't sound as ignorant.
Well, I was a web developer before this, and we were looking for a new solution. We were using some ancient bug tracking software that didn't even load anymore in the browser we were using. I think it allowed a whopping 3 custom fields, 3. Almost no configuration. It just wasn't working for us, and it was corrupting our data. And somebody said, "Hey, have you heard of Jira?" And I said, "No, what's Jira?" And it was all Jira all day from that day on. I was so impressed with what I saw. And I mean, this was ages ago. This was back in 2011 when server was pretty much the only option. I'm still a big server fan. I can't let it go.
and you never had the idea of changing your name to Ms. Rachel Jira, right?
I made a joke on Facebook that Jira and I were in a relationship. I think that screenshot is still around there somewhere. So instead of actually, my real significant other, it says Jira's my significant other on Facebook.
That must be a very bad love-hate relationship.
I'm a very understanding partner. He lets me do that, get away with that.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I look forward to getting to know you a little bit more. I'll just toss it back over to Rodney because then I'm going to get yelled at later for deviating from the plan.
No, it's cool. But yeah, just to give some context and time frame, I started my Atlassian journey about 2014. Even then, it was slow going. It wasn't my full-time job until close to 2016. I think it was my first summit that I actually discovered Rachel. I believe you were a speaker at that one, or someone told me about you. And I'm like, who is this Rachel person? I start looking up some of the stuff you have online. I'm like, where was this 3 years ago when I was just starting out?
Yep.
Did you ever feel scared of starting to document online?
You know what? I figured my mom would be the only person who read my book. I honestly thought that. But I wanted to write something that would help people, right? So Rodney didn't have to go it alone for 3 years. I thought there's no way I'm the only person who is having these, challenges or who needs to know this information. So I said, like you said with the Jira Life show, I will try it. I will see if anybody is interested in this, and if not, I'll move on to something else.
And then you sparked an entire revolution here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even Brittany here, Brittany Joyner, Trello Queen, she's even taken up the camper life. So speaking of that, Rachel, where are you broadcasting from this week?
I'm in Florida right now, getting ready to start probably moving around to dodge hurricane season. We'll see what this season's like.
We don't have hurricanes over here in California.
I know, but you've got the earthquakes, right? Everywhere has something.
It just shakes the ground for like 2 seconds. Nothing happens.
Until it does.
I was talking to someone and they're like, the earthquakes scare the crap out of me. I'm like, I've been in over 200 earthquakes. They still scare the crap out of me. That doesn't go away. You just get used to the jolt, and then your life keeps going.
And I counter with, I've been in over 200 tornado warnings.
Oh.
It's a matter of what you're used to.
Yeah, but every time you have a tornado warning, you need a new pair of undies.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I'll take you back to my first tornado warning.
You could just stand out there and watch it go by. I will say, Sean does have a point here with the wildfires. Earthquakes, I think I could get used to all of that. California has a season that's honestly just called fire.
Yeah, but it's also only a rich people problem because the poor people can't afford to live in the wildfire area. So for us commoners, it's not a problem. We just inhale smoke every once in a while. It's just every October. I think I had a friend who said it best. Our leaves don't change colors in October, but they do turn into a fiery red.
So moving on now, we're getting so much closer to the first Are You Smarter Than a Jira Admin? And Sajid has leaked us yet another question. So go ahead and join up. Let's see who is going to be online today for this. I may actually do it myself.
While this is loading up, man, this guy is not messing around with the marketing material on this. Are You Smarter Than a Jira Admin? I think before we know it, like, he's going to have his own broadcasting channel and everything.
I mean, doesn't he already?
I'm talking like full-fledged like TV show. Like he might be like locking in like a series with Netflix or something.
All right, so we got one person. That's me. Two. Who else is
Rachel,
bringing
could you
in?
ever imagine that this many like spawns and just variations of content creation would have started had you not helped pioneer that?
Well, I can't take credit for that, but it's
No.
so nice to see that like there are so many different opportunities, and there's still a ton of opportunities, right? So if you're thinking of doing something, there's still things to do, right? Things that haven't been done, people that need help, synergies between content creators. There's always more to learn.
The thing I've always preached and taught and told people is everyone approaches Jira, the Atlassian toolset, Trello, whatever your chosen toolset is, in a slightly different way because we all have our own different life experiences, own backgrounds. So all those experiences are in fact valid and deserve to be shared. And that's why there's always room for one more creator because it's a different perspective. And when you do that, we combine all those perspectives, we come out to the best practices.
I'm still waiting for the mashup of all the creators get together to do something.
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
So we got 6 people. I'm going to go ahead and get started. You guys can still join using the code at the top. But first one, you must determine whether a new project can be team managed or company managed. Which requirement can be met only with company managed projects? And they are restrict to consistent transition issues to done, connect a project to a Bitbucket server, automatically assign issues when transitioning to QA, add a custom notification event. Again, we're looking for which can only be met with company managed project.
And we're supposed to know how to answer these?
Yeah.
These are hard. I couldn't even tell you. I would be so ashamed to even put an answer.
I mean, maybe, but okay, we
You
got
can't
all
vote,
6
dude.
answers.
You probably saw the answer. Is the answer in the script? I'll go read that and then I'll go vote.
No, it's in the we're about to reveal it right now. The answer is add a custom notification event. So why is that? Reasoning. Well, the first one is incorrect because both projects can restrict who could use a particular transition. Company manages done via condition, team manages done via workflow rule. B is incorrect. Both types of projects can connect to Bitbucket. I did not know this. I got this wrong.
But server though, the keyword was server there.
I mean, you can still connect to Bitbucket.
But the question asked specifically for Bitbucket server.
I think that was a red herring.
Mm.
I mean, it got me too. I'm not saying, but okay, C is incorrect because both projects allow issues to be automatically assigned. This is in company managed projects done via post function and team manages another workflow rule. So D is correct. Custom notification events can only be added to company managed projects.
I don't spend enough time in team managed projects to have not known any of this. I intentionally avoid team managed projects like the plague.
I mean, yeah, but we all need to learn.
Why?
Because Bob has it right here. You need to study for it. He on 120.
Why would Atlassian put team-based questions in the ACP 120?
Because as a certified Jira admin, you should know about this.
But as a team managed project, you don't need a Jira admin. Let alone a certified one at that.
Oh, you always need a Jira admin. So again, this is a question that G got from Atlassian, from the university folks doing certifications. It's example of the type of question you might expect on the certification exam. Alex?
I'll let you know when I cross that bridge, man.
I've heard rumors.
We got barbecue.
But speaking of Sajid, Are You Smarter Than a Jira Admin premieres June 28th, a week from tomorrow. And not only is it going to have Sajid there, it's going to have our own producer, Bob Wen, on it. And as Bob already pointed out here, 230 people have already reserved a spot here. You're running out of time, reserve your own. We'll have the links in the description. If we don't already have them, definitely check this out. This is an event you don't want to miss.
Does this officially mean that the Quiz Whiz is dead?
No. This is just what happens between the Quiz Whizzes.
This is like that special season that you get in between the fall and the summer. Or I guess it's the fall and the fall again. You know how television shows or television networks will put like a little special summer series to get you until fall?
Bob has our hookup here. Season 3 of the Quiz Whiz starts in August, so you have 2 weeks, Alex.
No. 2 weeks.
You're going to be volunteered again.
I'm not volunteering. I'm running. Bob, if anybody knows this, Bob and Sajid know that they can't move me. They've already tried to push me onto the dance floor and they couldn't do it.
I don't know. We did pretty good last year.
No, I meant physically. Sajid and Bob tried to get me to go dancing at the
physical move, that's different.
I'm just saying, I don't. They're gonna have an uphill battle to get me show up again.
So, how's that certification working for you?
Well, I don't know. When I'm not dying, I'm gonna try to look at it.
So, Rachel, I'm a big fan of the certifications. I love the fact that Atlassian offers this opportunity for you to prove your skills. Our friend Alex here, we finally convinced him to take the 520 last year. This is after all sorts of heckling for months on end. And Bob mostly, I helped out a little bit, but it was mostly Bob's effort to help him study through the entire study guide. You can find this on his channel for the most part, where they went through all the topics and discussed them in depth. So this man who says he hates exams, will not take them ever. Alex, what did you get? You're muted.
I forget if it was 92 or 93%, but it was something like that.
And he refuses to take another one now.
I'm a horrible test taker, Rachel. I hate the anxiety.
No, I am too. I'm my own worst enemy, right?
My new nickname is Sandbags. Did I ever tell you when about my identity crisis that I had when I used to work at Northrop Grumman?
I don't think so.
There used to be two Alex Ortizes at Northrop Grumman. We had different IDs, but the same. We had different emails, but the display name was exactly the same thing. And these are black programs, right? These are classified programs that you don't want to mix up and invite the wrong person to a classified area, right? And one day, I got tired and fed up of always getting the wrong emails, and I discovered I can alter my display name. I added the name of the plane that I worked on. I was Alex Global Hawk Ortiz. And my dumb butt one time, somebody's like, why do you have Global Hawk in your name? Like, why would you put your name like that? I'm like, don't you know I'm the face of Global Hawk? As the program manager, that is the actual face of Global Hawk, walks right past me and she looks at me, she's like, come again? And I'm like, it's my email. And then I told the whole story and then she was laughing. So, but yeah. I'm going to change my name to Alex Sandbags Jira Ortiz.
So, Rachel, obviously we talked about how you started. Again, I think if anyone who knows you, I think the word they immediately think is Jira Strategy Admin. Why don't you tell us about how you got to the point where you wrote the book and what it's about?
Sure. Well,
I skipped ahead apparently.
I mean, yeah, you did.
When I don't read all the way through, I stopped at dialogue with guest.
Alex. But yeah, go ahead, Rachel.
Well, I was going to say, I want to give a shout out to the person who inspired me, because we all kind of have, that person in our lives. And mine was Matt Dorr. So Matt wrote probably the first Jira book, or at least the first one I know about. So he was my inspiration, and he helped me get my start. So thanks, Matt, if you're out there listening.
Where is Matt? Matt's usually here.
He's probably busy with work, considering what time it is.
It's 2:00 for everybody. Well, shout out to Matt.
Yeah, cheers to Matt. Water cheers.
Or tea for him, because he's British and whatnot. Matt is an interesting character. I just did an interview with him recently, and I don't know if it's gone public yet. I think it did go public, and I don't know if my wife left it in or not, right? But we're having banter. We're talking back and forth, and I say something, and Matt, I can literally see Matt writing things down. I'm like, Matt, are you stealing my ideas? And he's like, it was a good idea. I might want to do something about it. I'm like, shoot, if I would have known, I'm not going to be just spilling all these golden ideas here. But yeah, that was the first time that I'm like, Matt, what are you doing? Why are you writing down this?
Yeah, Matt has been on the show before. He's also an inspiration to me, to most anyone who's ever met him, talked to him. That's the thing about this community, though, is we've all built on someone else's work. Our producer, Bob, said at start that we all stand on the shoulders of giants. And I feel this community, that's probably more true than anywhere else, especially for the creators, because we always have that person we looked up to. And it just keeps going. And honestly, I don't know how far back the chain goes, but all these
Ronnie,
people.
you're the one. You're the one I looked up to.
Are you one you looked up to, or the one you were afraid of?
Well, I was afraid of, but then quickly realized who you were and looked up to you.
But yeah, that's something always amazing about this community, this group of people, is the fact that we're always, no matter what, we're always so supportive and engaging with each other.
It's not
Pretty-
always like this. We're lucky, right? Other industries, I don't think they have this, and they don't have it organically. Matter of fact, a lot of other industries, it's like fierce competition, and I don't see it like that at all in this ecosystem. I mean, everybody helps everybody else, and I'm so happy to be part of that.
It's a very interesting ecosystem as well. I've been in the IT business most of my career, and I've said it to a couple guests that we've had, which is like in the Microsoft space, like they have conferences and stuff like that too, and they have like community groups, but it's usually I think it's very scary to join. And like I think the people are like really, really smart, and they don't really kind of do a good job at welcoming new folks. And I think that's a really big important part of the community, because yeah, we're all friends in here, right? Like we're all kind of know each other, but we have some new faces that are jumping in for the first time, right? And it's important that that they don't see like, oh, they already have like a clique, right? And and so that's kind of what I like about the Atlassian community, that there's a little bit of something for everybody, because almost everybody's in different stages of their Atlassian learning journey.
Yes, I have a cat. So this is my cat. We took her to the vet along with the other two this week, and she's not feeling too good right now, so she's very much, I need snuggles, which makes it very hard to do any sort of work. So if you see the cat, that's what's happening, is she's not feeling well, but we're trying to take care of her.
Rodney, can I tell you my cat plus Jira story?
Absolutely.
So one day I was editing the announcement banner in Jira Server, and I had some basic HTML, and my cat jumped up on my keyboard and submitted my half-written markup. And if you've ever done this, you know that Jira just does not load. Jira is not happy if you miss a quote, at least back in the server days, or you miss a closing tag. Totally ruined my application. I had to go to the database, get rid of the code in the database, restart Jira. So it's always a funny story that reminds me, don't write your code in production. Learn the hard way.
A lesson that we can all take home from here. If you get anything away from today's conversation, don't be writing in production.
But
don't trust cats.
Don't trust cats, never. But I think that's something we've all done, especially if we've been around to the server days, where we have, in writing those banners for Jira, missed a closing, missed something, and it just completely disables Jira, makes it impossible to use. There's been a few times I've had junior admins who have done that and freaking out. I'm like, this is nothing. We'll just go to database, revert it. They're like, wait, what?
Interesting conversation about how you all trust cats. I'm allergic, so I'm not a big cat person. But apparently you can't trust them.
I mean, you can, but you can't. It reminds me of the Princess Bride quote, where it's something along the lines, you can't trust a Sicilian or something like that. You could trust a cat to be distrustful. If there's something to their benefit, they're going to do that. It's just trying to figure out what that is and make it not in their interest.
I think Bob had to hear with Trust by Verify.
Yeah. So, Rachel, sorry, go ahead, man.
I was just saying, cats.
Yeah, cats. This one, I said she's not feeling good.
Tell her to join me, because I'm not feeling that good either.
It appears to be going around. But yeah, Rachel, why don't you tell us what you've been working on here lately? Is there any new content or any new stuff coming out?
Yeah, I'm always writing new content. I like to kind of try to write things that are a little bit different or from a different perspective, or maybe things people aren't talking about as often. So I've got an article on my website, which is 9 ways to learn Jira administration. And it's basically just some ideas of things that you can do. Everything from like try to break Jira because you will learn a lot, to maybe set up Jira for a nonprofit in your neighborhood because you'll learn a different side of Jira. Or, for example, I track my RV journey in Jira. It's our 9th year on the road. So I track it in both Jira and Confluence, and I learn a lot of different, things by that totally different use case. So I've got some ideas there for those of you who are looking for additional ways to learn things. And also, I'm working on my 13th online course on Jira administration for LinkedIn Learning. So that's been such a blessing and such a wonderful opportunity. I absolutely love coming up with content, trying to take a subject and either give a good overview so somebody's got a good foundation, or really deep dive into something like the workflows course, for example. It's a whole course on nothing but crafting workflows. And it's the strategy of it, right? It's not where to point and click, because everybody can figure that out, or everybody can read the documentation. But I actually used a use case where I'm trying to learn to garden, and I'm not at all good at gardening. And gardening is challenging when you live in an RV. But I have a use case in that course of how I took my gardening experience, turned it into a Jira workflow, and now I track my inventory in Jira. So I know when it's time to plant, I know when it's time to harvest some seeds. So I try to do things in a slightly different way and make it interesting, and also make it interesting for me.
Why LinkedIn Learning over the other platforms?
Actually, they approached me, so I was open to anyone who wanted the content. Quite honestly, I'm happy to help anyone with content, but they were looking for some new courses. They hadn't had new content in a while, and I was so happy to help them out.
So, something you pointed out here, and this is something I've always told people, and I'm still surprised when I don't see this. Create your own test environment. Have your own playground. Have your own sandbox. I've heard this put a dozen different ways, but it is advice I hear everyone always give. Like, how do I get started Jira? I need someplace to learn. My company's not letting me experiment on the company Jira. I'm like, obviously not. People are using that to do work. We can't have that messed up.
What are you talking about? You don't want to test in production like Rachel?
Not anymore. I learned that.
You gotta learn from the master.
Oh, I've already done that mistake. I know better now. But it's so easy to get started with your own test environment on free in cloud. And even back in the day when we were starting, the starter license you got for $10 for your own server instance. Which,
for life.
Yeah, technically you could still spin that up today if you wanted to.
I still have one going. I will until the day it won't run anymore.
I don't have it going. I have the VM still, but the VM is shut down because I'm doing most of my experiments on cloud these days. But it is still there, and it could be started up within minutes, upgraded just a few moments more. But I mean, this is still simple advice, but it's still so prudent because I hear people. I saw on the Facebook Jira group earlier this week someone asking, "How do I get started on Jira?" And this is like everything I typed to them, same thing. Just read books, do research, follow creators, set up your own test instance, make a mess, start a new test instance because that one is too far gone.
Are we gonna ignore the fact that she just like snuck in the OG in there?
I mean, nowadays, it's all the same thing nowadays.
No, it's not.
Are you still upset that you're not a community leader?
No, I just think it's a little tip of the hat for the OGs, right? Of when they were called OGs.
I still call the user conference summit. I don't know that I'll ever be able to train my brain to say team
Call it
instead.
team.
So sorry.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. A little hat tip for all the people that used to love and call it OGs. My very first one was an OG. Then COVID hit.
I slipped up last week when I was in Galway and called it Summit.
So, Rachel, 13 classes, right? Do you have a limit? Do you plan on doing 20? What's your plans here? Like, is this turning into a sustainable business model, or?
It is. You know what? I think it's up to the audience. As long as people are still interested and still attending, I'll keep making them. I've got 2 more in the works after the one I'm working on right now.
Where do you find the time?
Well, you know, you know how it is. So, you know, I split my time between consulting and working on content. Some days it's more of one and more of the other. But I love to talk about Jira. Quite honestly, I'd rather talk about Jira than anything else. So for me, it's not really work. It's something I love to do, and that makes it something that's easy to do.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think having the courses, right? It's a very interesting opportunity for like earning income and whatnot. But it's also one of those things where you really got to know your stuff a little bit more, because you got to go in and create the content, and you got to keep that content updated. And
That's another great way to learn, though, right?
Mhm.
I end up teaching myself things because I say, well, this should really be in the course, even though I don't use this feature that often. So that's a great way to learn. Commit to teaching someone else at your organization a Jira feature, and then you'll learn it too.
We got a question from Sarah here.
Any advice on the methods for content creation? That's an interesting question there. Obviously, Rachel will let you go first, but I think I have some thoughts. I imagine Alex does too.
Well, sure. Well, from my perspective, I create the things that I wish were out there and aren't. So what were the things I wanted to see? Well, in the beginning, I wanted a book explaining Jira strategy, and there wasn't one. So that's my approach, but let's hear from the guys who do it as well.
I'll let Rodney go, because my brain is still catching up to the sentence, to the question.
So for me, it was very much, what do people need help with? Like, there was when I first started, there was no definitive guide to be a sysadmin on the Atlassian platform. There were guides out there, Rachel Wright, Matt Dorr, all these others, about how to run Jira, but nothing about how to get started running Jira. What does it take to set your first instance up? And this is back in the days of server, before there was any content like this. So I always try to find those gaps, like, what am I able to add that other people aren't adding or haven't added yet? And again, everyone has their own unique viewpoint, their own unique selling point for that. We all have different life experiences, so what I may see as common sense may never occur to someone else. So that's usually what I go with. And second, where the dopamine is, what's hitting well. A little bit ADHD there, but just follow the dopamine, and it usually leads someplace interesting.
Very well put.
Alex?
I was just gonna say, creating content that, and I think it goes to Rachel's thing, right? Like, things that I don't see on the internet that I want to be out there. So one of the biggest drivers that I created the tutorials the way I did them was I don't want to say tired, but I wasn't happy that there was tutorials out there, but they skipped the hard part. Right? I think a lot of people, like, they'll either, maybe they don't know it very well themselves, or maybe it's like a selling thing or something, right? But they'll give you like steps A, B, C, yada yada yada, X, Y, Z, and you're like, well, that yada 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 was really the part I needed. and that was one of my goals when I went out to make content, was just like, whatever I do, I want it to be complete and thorough, so that people don't feel like they're missing out on the yada yada yada. For all my Seinfeld people out there, see, I can be in tune with the other generation.
But can you really?
I love Seinfeld. Seinfeld's one of my favorite shows. Sisters in Jira. Rachel, so I have still so many more questions though. So content creation or courses, your book, you have your consulting. Is that all you do, or do you got other tricks up your sleeve?
No, that's all I do right now. I had a web development business before this, which is kind of, how I discovered Jira even existed. And then, I fell in love with Jira unexpectedly. I thought I'd be a web developer forever, and now I have no interest in going back. I like Jira way more.
And what about scalability? Like, how do you see you growing your courses, your offerings, your business?
Well, so, when I was a web developer, I had these big dreams where, I was going to create this massive empire and Microsoft was going to buy it and, all these ridiculous ideas that, weren't ever going to really happen. So with this business, my goal was just to really enjoy what I was doing and sustain my lifestyle here on the road, right? Those are my only goals. And this has far surpassed. I honestly think because I wasn't trying so hard to be like, let's make lots of money and let's sell lots of things. Like I was just trying to enjoy what I was doing. And I think that right there is just a huge difference in the way I approach things. I like to talk to people, talk about Jira, and the last thing on my mind is sales. Well, one, I'm terrible at it. But two, like that's not my goal. And I think when that's not your goal when you're creating content, I think it works so much better, right? I don't feel like I have to sell somebody. I can just tell them, here's how this new feature works. And that works better for me.
I think, I don't know if you met Stu from Revice. He has this word that I can never pronounce, but it's evident and you can't buy it. And that's authenticity. And
I think you got it.
Thank you. I practice it like 10 times a day. But you can't buy that stuff, right? Like people got to resonate with your stuff and they either do or they don't. And you're in a bad position if they don't. And you're in a great position if they do find your content authentic because they're just going to enjoy it, right? And create like a fan base. What was the first time that somebody went and recognized you? What did that emotion or feeling look like? Like when you were out like at a summit or something and somebody's like, OMG, it's Rachel Wright.
Yeah, I don't remember the first time, but I do remember at a summit, somebody came up to me at a table, and I'm a super introvert and not social whatsoever. So I was just kind of at a table by myself trying to be, small and have my hors d'oeuvres or whatever I was doing. And somebody came up to me and just, started a conversation because they were a nice person. And he looked at my name tag and he said, wait, you're Rachel Wright? And I got embarrassed and ended that conversation quickly. But it was nice. I will say it was nice to be recognized. That's not why I did it.
What about today then?
Sorry?
How does it go today?
I mean, it's my goal is for somebody to find something I do useful, right? Whether it's something I grew in the garden and haven't killed yet, or Jira content, or advice I gave somebody about, how not to, hate your first RV trip because it's a different kind of lifestyle. It takes some getting used to, and it takes a little bit of creativity sometimes to work out on the road. But I don't care if I can be useful and give somebody advice that they can use. Like that is all. That's what drives me. That's what keeps me going.
Do you have a post or something on how to create content while being kind of like a nomad? Because I moved. So I'll like.
No, go ahead, please.
I moved in January and February. Like I literally spent 30 days moving, and I don't know how much you've seen on my channel, right? But I crank out like almost a video a day. And that period of moving, I probably cranked out like 5 videos in 60 days. And I was just like, I didn't have the wall, I didn't have the setup. So I can imagine it's easy for you to psych yourself out and go, not today, the camera's not up, or I got to go unpack things. Or what does that thought process look like for you?
Well, so one thing, I gave up trying to have a nice background. I just gave up, right? Like I was like hanging stuff behind me. There's no room here. I mean, this is like 1 foot. I have no room to work with. It is what it is. I just embraced it and said, stop trying to be something you're not, right? I am not in a studio. This is not a professional, broadcast. So I just gave that up. It is what it is. Also for me, like, if I talk about things I'm interested in, it just comes naturally. If I try to be like, okay, I got to make a video a day or write a blog post a day or talk to 5 people a day, that doesn't work for me. It never has. But you asked about content. I don't have anything specifically about creating content, but I do have a series that I wrote about. It's called Boondocking with Jira and Confluence. And boondocking means essentially bringing your own resources. So like your own power, your own water, your own sewer when you're out on the road, not using the grid per se. And I kind of documented that as we were on our journey. So that's a little bit similar to what you were talking about, because, you know, I had no power. So how am I going to produce new content when you have no power? You have to bring your own internet.
Yeah. No, I literally every single morning I psych myself out. I give myself every excuse imaginable to not hit record. And so I applaud you for being mobile, right? Because every excuse in the book, you probably have it every single time you want to sit down and hit that record button too.
Yeah, you're right. You know, if it rains, it's too loud. I can't record anything. If there's dogs outside barking, well, one, I want to go play with the dogs. But two, you know, like, you know, if there are diesel RVs rolling by, you know, you can't hear anything. So you're right. There's so many reasons to just be like, forget it. I'm going to go outside.
It would make sense why you're a writer, right? Why you're writing content instead of, because recording audio and video is
difficult.
I have a little sign outside my door. My wife's like trying to get this implemented where we have like a light now, because the kids would just be yelling or something, and I'm like, guys, can't be doing that. I'm recording.
Yep.
And then how are we supposed to know that you're recording? Like, the door's closed, assume I'm recording.
Or
and then like the door's always closed. I'm like, I'm always recording.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, maybe you can embrace it. Maybe you can bring people into your world, and your reality is you do have kids.
It's so funny you just said that, because I'm not feeling up to the weather right now, and I was using the restroom right before we came on, and my son came to bring me the water bottle, and he's 12 years old, and I'm like, hey, his name is Jeremy. I'm like, Jeremy, you see me do the live stream 50 times, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, how about you do it for me today? And he's like, no, I don't think I'm ready. I was like, you can do it. You know enough about Jira now. You watch all the videos, because he helps edit and stuff. I'm like, you can go hang out with Rachel. But maybe one day I'll have him come in here and jump in on a live stream with us.
I bet people would love it.
We could also do
for me today.
We could also do like tracking chores in Trello, or Jira Junior.
Remodel. Yeah. Oh, I love Jira Junior. Oh,
Jira Junior.
That's a deep cut for those who've been around for a while.
Can we revive that? Is that a thing we can still bring back?
It's still.
I mean, I've stolen content from Atlassian before. They don't seem to mind.
My whole family's in on it, right? Like, they all produce this. Even my smallest at 7 years old, like, he talks Jira, and he's aware of the concept of Jira, how it works, and we homeschool the kids, so they're in that environment, tracking their tasks and their homeworks and everything that they need to be accountable. So it's definitely a family affair here.
I mean, I had a sticker chart when I was a kid. My mom also put little index cards in a little box by my bed to, when I woke up, told me what I had to do. Okay, make your bed. Today you're going to do this. After school, you're going to go to gymnastics. And I would put the cards in the back after I did we all do this. We just didn't have cool software. Mm-hmm. Right? So I would much rather have Jira than a sticker chart these days.
Wait, so who's stealing Jira Junior then? Because we got to jump in.
Jira Life is. It's a Jira Life project.
Jira Junior. I like the idea.
I mean, Alex, you were asking, when are we going to do like the math collab? Why not this?
Maybe when I don't feel like I'm dying, we'll try it out.
I mean, you always say that. You said that after I had kept you up for 23 hours.
Yeah, and I feel just like I did after you kept me up for 24 hours. Actually, that's the last time I felt this crappy. Was the last time.
So,
my body.
To explain the in-joke, Rachel, back in February when we were looking at the server end of life. No one was doing anything special. No one was celebrating. And I'm like, no, that ain't going to fly. So I still don't know how I managed to talk Alex into this, but I'm like, no, we need to do a 24-hour live stream. Well, what Alex didn't realize is I was talking about time zone adjusted, which for California means mostly on the 14th. So
I didn't get that information.
To his credit, he tried to front load so he had the 15th clear. We just did not communicate clearly which 15th.
Because, you know, the first original thought I would have in my mind is, let me clear the 15th for Australia first.
I'm glad you guys did that. That's a big milestone. I still love server. Thank you for doing that.
Did you see the death? Did you see us?
I popped in and out, during.
But did you get a chance to see Stu from Revise Hammer the Cross?
They actually, one of our guests did a full-on memorial service for Jira server.
Had a moment of silence and everything.
When before we moved to Jira, we had a funeral and an obituary for our old issue tracker. One of my team members wrote an obituary. I printed out all the tickets that were corrupted or never solved or just the funny things. And we had a ceremony too. So I put gravestones all around the office. So like minds, I guess.
It's so funny how like these two dudes in Australia create this product, and like I can't imagine that they were like this idea of like one day 20 years from now they're going to be thinking about it and this community is going to build this like whole thing around it. It's amazing to see, because like Windows 2000 died one day, right? Windows Server 2000 came to a death as well, and I don't know if anybody's doing a live stream for the death of Windows Server.
Windows XP, no one did anything for that. Windows 7 recently had its end of life. Windows 10 is approaching it. We're not going to do anything for that, but not this one felt special. This one felt like it deserved it, and it said no one was doing it, so we stepped up. And I just got to figure out how I talked Alex into that to talk him to another one.
That's what I was going to say. You stepped up and then bullied and forced me to do things I didn't want to do.
I did not bully you. I strongly encouraged you.
Next time we're doing this, we're going to do 3 8-hour sessions.
Yeah, we have already had the postmortem. Having all three of us up the full 24 hours was not the brightest idea. Especially when we have 3 of us, we could do 8-hour sessions and not kill ourselves.
Because that was brutal. That was very, very brutal.
Though I do love the quote at the end where they're like, we think Alex might be dead, and Rodney looks like he's ready for another 24-hour live stream.
And now I'm not allowed to have shoes inside my house because of Nikki. Atlassian's always thinking 20 years out, so I think they were, but could also not have predicted. I kind of missed the opportunity to tell Mike about that. I did tell Mike about the 24-hour live stream, but now in retrospect, I probably should have told him about the whole crossing that we did.
That was the best part of the entire show, though.
What hour was it, so we can all go back and find it? Do you remember?
Fortunately, it was so. We did 24
another
hours.
lesson learned.
It was 24 hours. YouTube has a 12-hour limit. StreamYard, which is the tool we have, has a 10-hour limit. So fortunately, it was, let's see, we started at what, just 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 9 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
And this happened around 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific. So 10, 11, 12, 1. Like around
we were able to
4
cut it
hours.
out. Yeah, we were able to cut it out, and I believe it's its own independent episode on the channel. You can look up now.
Great.
Where we had this funeral. But yeah, unfortunately we weren't able to save the full 24 hours. We have the people who were there with us to know we did make it, but we have no empirical evidence, as it were, which I think is all the reason we need to have to do it again, but I can't convince Alex of that. Yeah, that was a crazy time. As if Brittany said, she was struggling with 12 hours. I know Jimmy has had some similar challenges. Jimmy talks to Jiro, and he struggled when it's been later. 24 hours was ambitious. I think if we were to do it again, we'd break it up into 3 8-hour sessions with their own stream so we could save the entire thing. Ed, you're probably right.
My wife did step in, so she stepped in for like an hour, like at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
That was
because someone was snoring.
I wasn't snoring. I took a little power nap. 20 minutes will do wonders during a 24-hour live stream. I was like, I'm just gonna visualize the inside of my eyelids, and like 20 minutes later, I was like, oh, I'm still on the internet. But like, I brought my blanket and everything. I'm so glad that stuff was just not saved though, because like things got weird between like midnight and like 6 a.m. the next day.
Yeah, they did get a little weird. So,
if you weren't there, it wasn't you didn't get to capture it right, but it was weird.
So Rachel, loved having you on. Unfortunately, we do this for all our guests. It is time for the quick Quizlet. I believe you got the brief about what it is, what it's about, but it is 5 questions. They're either going to be A or B or answer a question. The idea is to answer them as quickly as possible. We'll give you a break between each one to explain your answers if you choose to, but you have not, just confirm, you have not seen any of the questions beforehand, correct?
Nope.
Wait, is that something we're supposed to ask our guests? Because
Nope, but we are now.
I might be slipping them the answers beforehand.
Yes, Alex.
So
We know
Rachel,
you.
just real quickly while he pulled that up, do you have like a JiraStrategy.com like banner or sticker on the side of your RV?
No, I did start a blog for the RV when we first started out, and I was going to kind of do something brand wise about that, and I just never got to it.
I'd be like, every
Jira was
mile
too big
counts
for
for this business, man.
It's a business expense.
Plenty of people do that though, right? The market is super saturated with people showing their van life adventure or their RV adventure. So there's lots of that out there.
But there's only one Rachel Wright.
So,
we
got our questions. Are you ready for question number 1? All right, this is going to be the softball. Coffee or tea?
Unsweet iced tea.
That's a choice.
as I'm scrolling through the list of answers.
I mean, fair enough. My southern superpower is I could drink unsweet tea without gagging. My wife cannot.
Mm-mm. I gave up sugar and artificial sweetener and the idea of putting it back in. I can't do sweet tea. It's too much.
Just water? Cold water?
No. God. It's not leaf juice that you cooled off and put ice in.
I don't, well, for disclosure, I don't drink tea, let alone I put it in. I mean, my iced tea is full of sugar, so I'm trying to visualize what. Never mind. I gotta diversify my liquids, apparently.
All right, next question. Which is your favorite, Scrum or Kanban?
Kanban, just the flexibility. And I don't miss being a web developer and having that strict 2-week sprint. That was no fun.
You're losing brownie points here with the audience.
Sorry.
I'm for life.
I don't miss the middle of the night calls either, because something's wrong with the website, or the releases where you're releasing like multiple versions of software at the same time. All these things we did to ourselves. Why? I don't miss any of that.
All right, so next question. Would you consider a vanilla soy latte a 3-bean soup?
I don't understand the question.
I don't even either. What
So vanilla soy latte, you have vanilla beans, you have soybeans, you have coffee beans. Is that a 3-bean soup?
That's not food.
Tomato soup is not food.
We're trying to
People still call it a soup.
I mean, people call Google the alphabet soup, so.
So everything can be a soup? Is that your point?
I mean, cereal could be a soup if we qualify it as such.
Don't get him started with this, Rachel, because you're going to get this whole thing going with him, and you're going to regret it. Your
I will
Arby's
plead
not.
the fifth. I don't know the answer, but I
Well,
don't.
whatever it
consider
is, it's not that.
All right, fair enough. The answer is no. I mean,
Your
I'd
boss
argue it,
does
but
not like you at all.
I mean, technically, we are a soup if you want to look at it as such. Just very solid soup. Anyways, moving on. How do you pronounce your query language? Is it JQuil or JQL?
JQL to me.
Going back to the soup thing, my wife doesn't get into the pool because she feels like it's a human soup. So I guess everything's a soup. She's like, I can't do pools. Everybody's in there. It's like human soup.
So no bathtubs or hot tubs for her either, then, huh?
I mean, alone in the shower or the bath, yeah, but not with the communal.
My boyfriend says that the bathtub is marinating in your own filth. So
That makes sense.
if you were hungry, you're not hungry anymore.
So, last question. And again, food based. I was hungry when I wrote this list. I'm sorry. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Not to me.
What? Rachel, I don't know that we can.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I lost some friends.
Yeah, I think
To
you're
me,
losing a lot of
everything
credibility
belongs on
here.
pizza. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, my view is it can go on pizza, but it doesn't necessarily have to. It's an optional ingredient. But I've known people who are like, it's not a pizza without pineapple. And I've known people saying it's not a pizza if it has pineapple.
I just
That's
never
like-
got into it. I'm growing a pineapple right now. Does that count for anything? Do I win
You
any
gotta put it on a
fans back?
pizza. You gotta
I mean, I'm
make
growing
it
one
first.
too, so pineapple.
Takes forever.
It does. Oh my god. We started
My
last year with this
plant is
planting.
only this big. But I took it from a pineapple and cut it into many pieces, and it actually rooted. So maybe in 2 years I'll have an actual pineapple, and maybe then I will try it on pizza. We'll see.
Might taste better once you're on pineapple.
Maybe.
When I find someone who's really passionate about pineapple on pizza, I usually try and flip the script on them. I'm like, okay, you have your opinion on that. We're not going to question whether it's valid or not. Not what I'm here for today. What would you feel about if the pizza was on the pineapple instead? Just
Hey,
have
Ronnie,
your pineapple half with marinara sauce and cheese right on top of it. Would people still feel the same way?
Ronnie, you are more delusional than I am right now, and I'm on some medication right now.
No, this is me perfectly sober.
I know that's the unfortunate part. All right, do we have a big announcement to make?
I think we do have a big announcement to
Can
make.
we get a drum
and,
roll? Can you hear the drum roll?
I can hear the drum roll, but I'm not sure if it's needed.
Why not?
So, Rachel, I hope you don't mind if we call up this episode. And I think Bob probably needs to be on for this one too.
Yeah, we'll get him in here. We'll pop him right in. Look at this. Boom. El Rey.
So,
Drum roll. Wait, Ed, you got to get Ed in here too. Get that link.
I mean, go ahead, Bob.
I wasn't sure about getting Ed on, but I
Oh, he's
wasn't
there. He's
sure if we
coming
were
in.
going to have all of us on here.
Where's Ed? I need to. Who's got access to Ed quicker than me?
Not it.
Ed, keep an eye out.
I think having him in chat is good enough for this announcement. So, me, Ed, Bob, and Alex have been working on a bit of a secret project for past
9 months.
9 months or so. Yeah,
It's like the worst kept secret project.
absolutely.
Nobody knows about it.
But yeah, we wrote a book, and I think having Rachel on for this announcement is absolutely the best timing possible. We finally got permission to kind of announce this morning. We've just finished this book. Everything's ready. We've got an Ed on.
I got a book. Let me be the first to say I'm never doing this ever again. But with that said,
You
bye.
say that with everything, Alex.
Everything.
You know, it's kind of funny because I think Val was asking if we were having a baby, and given that this is like the second time I've done this, yes, very very much so like having a baby, and
To be
I
clear,
can identify with Alex's feelings that, oh God, I'm never doing that again. And then and then the memory fades, and then it's like, yeah, no,
I'll
what?
make sure to
Maybe
remind you
one more time.
I'll make a Jira automation rule that just goes and pings you every month and goes, don't think about it, Bob. Don't think about it. It's not worth it, Bob.
Someone will go into the Jira automation and quietly disable it. Not saying who.
Yeah, we wrote a book. It's been a long time coming.
And we have a release date as of this morning. Today we found out the release date and we're like, okay, we announce it tonight. But July 19th is when it goes on sale. It's already visible on Amazon, which means that's when you know it's real. And we'll have pre-order links coming soon.
I to be clear, I do like the book. I just never writing a book again. I'm gonna stick to, it's not the matter that like I didn't enjoy writing the book. It's a matter of like I'd much rather sit through a camera.
I just like watching Alex fight with the publishers.
It is
That was
entertaining.
the most enjoyable part. Yes, definitely. The snarky message from Alex comes through. It's like, yeah, I'm with you right there.
I'm thinking about it, but I don't have the guts to say it.
More or less, yes.
That is fantastic news. How long did it take you?
Like we started, I think September 20 something.
Yeah, this was September.
Oh, that's good. It took me 2 years. That's fantastic.
So one, I think this is gonna tarnish relationships here because Bob was like, "Hey guys, I wrote a book, right? This amazing book that I got here on DevOps Protection and per se.
I've got one somewhere over there.
Yeah, he's like, I wrote this book, guys, and the publisher is like asking me for another book, but Bob already knew the journey, the treacherous journey ahead." And did not disclose that it was a treacherous journey, but rather said,
No. I did.
No, he did.
You had
He just didn't listen.
You had
No,
work.
no.
You had side
The way Bob-
projects.
the
This
way
was
Bob
another
was
one.
like-
I gave you an out,
No, but wait,
and
listen.
you did not take it.
But this is how you pitched it. You're like, guys, it's a treacherous road, but if we split it 4 ways, it's not as treacherous.
And that was true because it took me a year for book number 1.
all I know is my hat's off to any person who has ever published a book.
Yes.
This is not for the faint of heart. Like I can't tell you how many times I just want to like just give up. Like last week.
And so we're giving some love to you, Rachel. We're giving some love to Brittany, who has written her Trello book and
Matt
is
Thor.
actually starting her
Yes.
book club.
And that one dude that wrote that Confluence book too, no?
Brittany, this was my reference when I was looking at how to do stuff.
Is that where all the great screenshots came from? Then our tech reviewer, who's my buddy, got mad at got pissed off everybody.
But
Well, it's kind of a give and take. Sometimes the tech reviewers they'll let it through, and you don't get too much. And then they're the tech reviewers who bathe it all in red, and it's like, no, this is completely wrong. This is you didn't do it this way, and after I count to 10, and then I was like, okay, we'll do the
that's your trick?
change.
I just respond right away. I don't count to 10. But in all honor of Ed's shirt, I just speak the truth, man.
So we really wanted to end the show on that note because we are all super proud, super happy. Definitely thanks to Inspirations, as Ed said, and everyone else. Rachel, you're absolutely an inspiration in this. Matt Dorr, Brittany, just everyone in the
Robbie,
Bob, King
Robbie.
Bob himself.
John
Mhm.
Funk.
And it's an honor to finally be able to put our names with
There is
that
that
incredible
there's a
list.
Trello- sorry, there's a Trello template for Sarah, but yes.
But that being said, we are at the end of the show. Before we go, we do want to thank our supporters, being our Jira Amigos and Confluencers. That'd be Sean Doyle and Andy Gladstone for Jira Amigos, and one of our newest supporters as of yesterday, some barbecue guy down here in Atlanta, Ed Gale, who's now a Confluencer. That being said,
we also just got one this morning.
yeah, but we only shout out Confluencer and above on the show.
Oh, okay.
It's growing.
It's growing though. We're getting definitely thank everyone for your support if you're able to help out. It lets us do more, lets us start setting up like our own Jira instance, all this other stuff we desperately need. So absolutely know that if you do support us, the money's going right back into the show. But as we always say at the end of the show, we didn't choose Jira Life. Jira Life chose us.
Thank you for listening to the Jira Life. Our hosts are Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira Guy, Nissen. You can find Alex on YouTube at 8Tech Tutorials, and Rodney's blog is found over at thejiraguy.com. Our producers are Robert King Bob Wen and Lina Ortiz. You can catch us live as we record this podcast every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at The Jira Life. Be sure to join us and our other Jira Amigos of the Peanut Gallery every week to ask your questions, let us know your comments, and just tell us what you're up to. But if you can't join us live, you can still catch the replay over on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell while you're watching. We're also available as a podcast over on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you listen to it and think it deserves a rating, we would very much appreciate it, as it will help others discover the Jira Life. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us.